It's time to look at what life is actually like once you land in the United States.
So, our next segment is titled Real Stories, Real Success, Life and Work in the United States. So, we know that while the paperwork and the exams are the how of your journey, the why is the life you will build once you get there. So, many of you are wondering, what does a typical day in the US lab look like? How do you adjust to the culture? What is the biggest challenge and the biggest reward? To answer those questions, we have invited someone who was once sitting exactly where you are now and is currently living the dream. A medical technologist originally from Butuan City, Caraga region, brings over a decade of extensive experience in both clinical and academic fields. She earned her bachelor's degree from Butuan Doctors College and went on to complete her master's degree in medical laboratory science at Lyceum of the Philippines University, Batangas. A dedicated leader in her field, she also served as a local chapter officer for the Philippine Association of Medical Technologies for nearly 9 years. In 2025, she successfully transitioned to working abroad with the guidance and support of Health Carousel and Passport USA. And she is currently working with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta and Emory University in the United States. Versace is here to give us an unfiltered look at the transition from the Philippines to the US. Please join me in welcoming Versace Acedo. So hello, Sachi.
Hello po. Good
Good
day,
evening.
everyone. Good evening. Sorry.
Good
uh,
evening and good morning.
yeah, maraming salamat po sa napakagandang introduction, Ma'am Christine. It's truly an honor to be here today. Magkaroon ng opportunity na ma-share po ang aking journey with all of you. So, lahat ng naka-join dito sa webinar today, especially sa ating mga kapwang medical technologists, nurses, at other aspiring US healthcare professionals, welcome po. And then I hope that by sharing my experiences from working in the Philippines hanggang sa transition ko dito po sa US healthcare system, I can give you practical insights, encouragement, and realistic expectation as you prepare your own migration journey. So sana after this session, mas maging prepared, confident, and inspired po tayo sa pag-pursue ng inyong US trip.
Thank you, Sachi. So for our session, we'll be doing kind of like an interview type. So I'll be asking questions na to Sachi, just to get her experience and kung ano yung naging full journey niya with her US application. And up until now, what is her life like in the US, no? So for our first part of the interview, so your personal migration journey. So could you share with us, Sachi, what inspired you to pursue a healthcare career in the US? And once you made that decision, what was the most challenging part of your application and deployment process?
Uh, okay. Actually, it's kind of a long story for that, but just to shorten all of my experiences because it was like a roller coaster po talaga na experience.
Mhm.
But let me answer first the question why work at the US. So at the
Mhm.
age of 26, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life, which is to leave my comfort zone in the Philippines and pursue my career as a medical technologist here in the US. Hindi dahil mahal ko ang Pilipinas, hindi dahil na hindi ko mahal ang Pilipinas, but because I wanted to grow, dream bigger, and build a better future for myself and also for my family. So like many Filipino healthcare professionals, naranasan ko po na ang mga challenges ng pagtatrabaho sa Pinas. Long working hours, heavy workloads, at maraming sacrifices na kadalasan hindi na nasusuklian or sapat na opportunities at compensation. Kahit ibigay mo ang best mo araw-araw, minsan mahirap po ma-achieve ang at also ang financial stability at career growth sa Pinas, which is actually a reality. And working in the US opened doors to opportunities that helped me enhance my skills, gain international experience, and work in advanced healthcare settings where healthcare professionals are truly recognized and valued. So more than the salary, it gave me a chance po to provide better life for my family and inspire other Filipino professional to believe that their dreams are possible. So hindi naging madali ang pagiging Filipino medical technologies abroad. May homesickness, maraming sacrifices, at ang challenge to starting over a new country. But every challenge become worth it when you remember why you started. So to grow professionally, make your family proud, and prove that Filipino healthcare workers are truly world class. So that's for the first part. As to my journey for the application and deployment po, I started my journey in the health carousel way back May 2022. Hindi ito nirecommend po ng isang friend or colleague or previous applicant. So, just like other Filipinos that are scrolling in the social media, nakita ko po ang health carousel sa Facebook. And but with one simple click to apply to that agency, na wala po akong alam noon, I unknowingly known I made one of the best career decisions of my life. Overall po, my application and deployment journey was a smooth progress, unexpected challenges, and rewarding milestones. I actually had three different advisors throughout my process. And despite having different styles po, they have provided me with guidance, support, and communication for my application hanggang sa deployment ko po sa US. In fact, with the same year na nag-apply ako sa Health Carousel, I was blessed to receive a job offer from the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta after a successful interview, which is also my current workplace today. And of course, hindi po mawawala ang challenges. One of the biggest challenges that I've encountered during my application process is the perm application, which were one of the batches in the health carousel candidates. I'm also one of those members of those batches that our perm application was audited way back in May 2024. Marami sa amin ang na-discourage dahil po sa delay, but I keep reminding myself, delay is not denial. Audited lang kami, but hindi kami denied. So through faith, patience, and prayers po, our perm applications were eventually approved. So it's not really that kind of long wait and long delay po. Just keep your faith in there, and God will provide it for completely to you. So during that time, nakita ko rin po kung paano ako tinulungan ng Health Carousel ang kanilang mga candidates, specifically by exploring other options. So including giving qualified applicants that to join the H1B lottery. So by God's grace, I was also fortunate po to be selected. Hindi man ako swerte sa mga raffles or lotteries, but the experience remind me that also God is also the God's timing is always perfect at that time. So from licensing to visa processing, interview application hanggang sa pag-adjust ko po sa buhay at trabaho dito sa US, Health Carousel was every step of the way. So today I'm grateful not only for the opportunity to work in the US, but also for everyone who helped me turn this dream into a reality. And also, I am proud to share to everyone that last June 2025, which is just after my few months here in the US, I am officially a green card holder po. So, thank you, Health Carousel.
Congratulations, Sachi. So, that's very inspiring. No, hopefully, yun, ma-inspire din yung mga other applicants natin and candidates na nag-aantay pa sa US application nila. So now, let's proceed with your preparations before deployment. So after that migration journey, the filing, I understand how stressful that could be, yung long period ng waiting, the agony, the anxiety, and also now, um, once we prepare for your deployment, I just want to ask, how did your clinical experience dito sa Philippines prepare you for US healthcare standards? And on the practical side, ano naman yung mga financial steps na ginawa mo to prepare you before you leave to the for the US?
Okay. So for the importance of the clinical or hospital experience in the Philippines po, clinical and hospital experience in the Philippines is very important for medical technologists and even to the other US healthcare workers or professionals, because dito po talaga nahasa ang skills, discipline, and adaptability natin sa healthcare natin as the healthcare professionals. Or working in the Philippines exposes us to different patient cases, fast-paced laboratory settings, challenging situations that help to improve our critical thinking and also technical competencies. So kahit demanding ang environment natin, sa Pinas. It also prepared us to become more resilient, resourceful, globally competitive, especially for those who planning to work abroad. And to the second question, financial preparation before leaving or during the deployment process. My financial preparation as to myself lang po before leaving or during my deployment was not as grand or well planned compared to the other techs. But as per advisor, they suggested us to prepare at least 1,500 or $2,000 as for our personal allowance. But even though Health Carousel will also provide us with the same amount for our arrival allowance, that's different from the pocket money that we'll be bringing to the US, and also with the housing allowance that's the second thing that they will provide. It's only better and wise no to have other financial resources aside from what the agency provided us. So I suggest to my fellow katusok dyan and also to other healthcare professionals na mag-prepare kayo financially during the process from step 1 until sa deployment day. So para or mag-ipon po so para hindi kayo mahirapan aside sa stressful but fulfilling process from visa filing to embassy appointment. So
Thank you for that, Sachi. So talagang important na dapat financially prepared din talaga ang mga applicants and candidates, no? Kasi nga malaking help yan pag nakarating kayo sa US. So now let's move on to your first few months in the US. So I just want to ask, Sachi, ano yung pinaka-biggest cultural or professional adjustment you face upon arrival, and how did you manage yung emotional transition during that period?
yes, I actually second the motion of what Sir Dan was highlighting earlier about the one of the biggest and primarily challenges that we're encountering now as a first this is my first experience working in abroad, so actually it's the communication. Specifically for me, I'm not from the north side of the Philippines. I'm on the south side, so Bisaya po ako, which is actually the what you call this the accent is much more different from the north side of the Philippines. So um uh but to make it and also to fit it in a story po, I arrived here in the US way back February 2025. So I know hindi po siya magiging easy start, but being with some of my Filipino co-candidates, I arrived here with one Filipino, and then but of the same facility, we're actually five that were on that specific batch of and also of the same profession. We're all medtechs po. So for those Filipino co-candidates from the HC with same profession, it was quite tolerable and easy in some ways po na maka-adapt in the first few months because sila po yung major or primarily yung kasama nyo po. So sa first month as Filipino immigrant, medyo overwhelming po talaga kasi sabay-sabay lahat ng adjustment. Una, apartment hunting. Yes, madalas mahirap ma-approve dahil sa credit history. Imagine you've started here, you have no financial resources or credit history or background, so somehow I will not call it as a discrimination or something, but it's really difficult to apply for some apartments here with those kind of backgrounds. But with God's grace, we've been approved by that one apartment here, which is just like a walking distance from the facility. So actually, the car requirement is also not one of our priority here at that time. No, so it's also one of our advantages at that time. Then adjusting to the area, so of course new roads, the driving culture at basic errands from the grocery shopping, and also the grocery is like um few meters lang po sa aming area. So actually, when you consider on apartment hunting, you have to consider the distance as well. Just to especially when you're starting, and also when you want to consider that you want to save money first before purchasing car or saving your transportation. So yun po. Then also, one of the main adjustment is ang food, of course. Food is a mix of excitement, homesickness. Naghahanap po talaga ako ng Filipino stores dito habang nag-a-adjust sa American. But thankfully we have one of our she's been here. So she's also from the health carousel, but she's been here for like 2 years. But she was able to take us to this Filipino restaurant and also some groceries. So which is really just thankful to all the people that who assisted us here. So hindi po talaga kami pinabayaan ng Diyos. And also with some health carousels and some staff on the health carousel as well, because they keep the communication um, from the deployment or from the application itself until po makarating kami dito and until now. Then of course work. One of the biggest adjustment in my career was transitioning po to become from a generalist sa laboratory to become a blood bank specialist. So actually, I'm a blood bank specialist na po dito. Sa Pilipinas, ang blood bank po ay isa lamang section na hinahandle natin. Dito sa US, parang buong universe siya. O, parang may own universe po yung blood bank dito. We are 20 techs alone in a blood bank department. So you imagine that, how vast our workloads, just considering 20 po ka medical technology sa blood bank department lang po. Then mas malalim po ang testing, mas komplikado ang antibody investigation, as mahigpit po ang safety protocols, as what as Sir Dan mentioned about the FDA protocols and restrictions, at sa bawat decision po ay may direct impact po sa buhay ng pasyente. So looking back, I can say that my first few months here in the US were both humbling and rewarding. It reminded me that growth happens when we allow ourselves po to become beginners again. Minsan kailangan pong iwanan ang comfort zone at tanggapin na mga bagay na kapag hindi natin alam, it's perfectly okay because, we're open to learning new things. And overall, it's all about adjustment, learning, and small wins habang slowly nagiging familiar tayo sa new life natin dito sa US.
Thank you, Sachi. So now, since you were talking about your experience naman sa US na yung work mo there, ayan, as a med tech. So, what difference stood out most between working in Philippine hospitals and US hospitals? So, ano yung naging difference na nakita mo?
Actually, I would just like to highlight more on the um, procedural, what you call this, procedural po na mga policies and bench assignments po dito sa US. It's when we say about the clinical world or clinical healthcare in the Philippines, is more like of we're not more the Philippines has not really been modernized compared to the state of the laboratory setup here in the US. So just like also what Sir Dan mentioned, it's kind of a our status in the Philippines are more of a laid back kind of setup in there that hindi po natin pinapractice sa Pilipinas yung mga pinapractice natin namin dito sa US, which is we just we just read those practices or learn those practices by the book, but we never experience it in a clinical setup po. So just like what I said, it's really overwhelming because aside from also working with uh, a lot of people with different diversities, actually Georgia, which the Georgia state where I am now, it is considered as one of the highest rate of diversity workplace in the US. So you're just not also adapting or adjusting to the new policies or the new procedures that you have to perform in the laboratory, but also to the different people or different races that you will be working with in the laboratory. So um, I can tell that it's also a good opportunity po talaga, or that it's not even a good, it's one of the best opportunity to be working here in the US, because um I can say that, especially for me, I'm not really just working in a clinical facility in the Philippines, but also I've been working as a regulatory officer in my region in the under the DOH of like giving licenses to different health institutions. But even our policies there for as for as a regulatory officer, it's not really as advanced now compared to what we are, or what the different institutions were required for each health facilities here in the US. So all I can say po is maging prepared po tayo both to the different sections or different fields, especially for the medical technologies that we are not really exposed there in the Philippines. And then we, because one of the main difference lang po talaga as a working Filipino here in the US is that um, mas masipag, mas matyaga at laging handang matuto tayo. No, that's what I can really say in my own perspective as a Filipino here, and also working with different kind of people with different kind of races here. No, then so that I second the motion of Sir Dan, that the Filipino medical technologies and other healthcare professionals indeed have a unique advantage among the healthcare workers, even though that we are way laid back there in the Philippines.
Thank you, Sachi. So hopefully that prepares our candidate din, no? Or mga applicants natin in their US journey. So when it comes naman to your professional growth and career opportunities, were you able to find opportunities for specialization or advancement? Meron ka ba mga na-discover na ganun sa US?
Yes, actually po ang decision bukod sa work ko dito, which is provided or given to me by the Health Carousel, which I'm working now in the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. That's my first assignment here na facility sa US. Actually, since I'm a green card holder, I've taken that opportunity to get another part-time job, which is I've got a part-time job also as a lab tech in the Emory University Hospital. It's one of the known hospitals here in the north side of the US. And also, I've also contributed to one of the educational, what you call this, educational um, works in my main facility, which is uh, to be to be part of the blood bank project that was conducted last year. That's one of the projects that were conducted last year in our lab. So what started as a workplace initiative become a valuable experience in research, teamwork, and quality improvement. So by God's grace, our study was accepted for the presentation at this year's AABB annual meeting, which is this coming October 2026. And also, I'm truly honored to be recognized as one of its authors. So it was a one of a lifetime experience and opportunity po.
Congratulations, Sachi. We're very happy to hear that. And of course, proud of you, no? So, we are going to move on for your photos kasi may mga shinare si Sachi with us na photos niya na nasa US. So, we'd like to hear some of the backstory lang din if you could share with us yung mga story behind the photos that you've sent us.
Sige po.
Next slide, please.
Okay.
Ayan.
So
So, go ahead, Sachi. Share lang
Yeah.
yung mga stories behind.
Yes. Actually, let's start with the on the right side, on the upper right side. This is the first picture we'd had when we arrived here in the US. So this is actually the team that I came with, the Filipino team that I came with here in the US. So we're all actually working at the same facility as well, but most of these people are from the core lab, and also half of these people here are in the blood bank, which is the same section as mine. And then on the next, right on the middle upper side picture, this is just the people that is working on the AM shift, specifically in the blood bank. So makikita po nyo na sa number ng tao na nagwo-work dito sa picture na to, that's only in the specific shift. You can see the vast of work that we do in our department, and also the different what you call this benches and work assignments. So hindi po siya para sa atin na nagko-cross match lang or nagbibigay ng dugo, but actually we've done antibody testing, antigen testing, irradiation, splitting the different kinds of units, not just the red cell, but also the platelets, the plasma, cryo, and everything po. And then dito sa pinaka, what you call this, pinaka left side na photo, this is my first state that I've traveled with outside from my assigned state. So this is the New York City. As you can see, where this is also a Filipina, but actually this is she is a direct car. So hindi po siya under health carousel, but it's good to meet some other Filipinos from other states. So this is our bonding here in the Empire State Building. Then of course, this is and also in the middle lower part, the picture, this is the first time that this is the first day that I've purchased my car. That I've just purchased like um September po last year, since I've got the second job, and it also took me like few miles from my area to go there, so I consider getting the car. So just like what I've said po, if you're just starting here for a few months, you have to consider the distance of your apartment to your workplace if you want to save money. But then if you want to venture out of your aside na work, so you also have to consider the transportation. And then of course, that's a proof that may facility na po ako aside from the healthcare, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and then also a tech from of the Emory Healthcare University. So, opo.
Thank you, Sache. I think we have more photos pa on the next slide.
Yes.
Ayan.
So yeah, just recently, this left side of the screen, a photo. I've just recently went to Alaska with my boyfriend. I meet my boyfriend here po, which is 2 months from the time that I have arrived here. So aside from getting the goal to to be best at work, also have to get the goal of finding your love, which is not really it's not really a requirement, but just to make your full American dream come true. Of course, you have to get your other goals, no. And also this other picture in the middle, upper middle, this is where we visited the Seattle. This right side of the photo is Tennessee. That's also one of the well-known waterfalls in the Tennessee, the Ruby Falls. And then also in the lower right picture, that is in Pittsburgh, where is this is the place where in Pennsylvania, dito po kasi nakatira, or yung home state po ng boyfriend ko. So we just visited there, but my boyfriend has his own house here in Georgia. So we're just visiting there during the Christmas season. And then sa middle po, I am very proud to present my whole family here in the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Sila po yung family ko sa laboratory. So both of these people are from Core Lab and also from Blood Bank department. So these people made my life easier here from day one until now. So sila po to. So okay.
Hey, thank you so much, Sachi. So actually, ayan, we're very happy to see yung mga photos, no? At least we see that you have a really good life then, di ba, outside your professional work. Sabi rin ng isang comment, sana all. Ayan. So, just a closing question na lang no, before we proceed with the panel Q&A. So, meron ka bang mga lessons from your migration journey na pwede mong i-pass on to our candidates and applicants? And also, if you could give at least one piece of advice to someone preparing for deployment today, what would it be?
For the migration advice, one main advice lang po is to be financially prepared because actually as considering myself na hindi po ako well off na um tao po sa Pinas. I've also worked my hardest just to earn that particular amount of money. So yeah, it's been a struggle for me for the financial readiness po kasi it's because of the different changes of the timeline na um what you call this we've as I've mentioned, we have a delay in our perm approval. So na iba po yung timeline, so in which it got delayed for few years, no po, pero hindi naman po siya talaga actually it's a blessing in disguise, no, actually, because if I consider myself being deployed at that time, I can tell that I would not be working, hindi po ako makakapagtrabaho sa regulatory team po na under DOH, which I learn a lot aside from working in the clinical field. And also, it's just, and also meet other people that can also help me with my financial, for the financial support, and also some advices from other people, experiences that I consider as a guidance po para maging prepared or as to my journey from the embassy appointment. So actually, it's just a blessing in disguise. And also po for the what you call this your next question, ma'am, is about just one tip, no, um especially for starting medical technologies here. I've been here for like almost 1 year and few months already, 1 month and 1 year and 4 months already. So my one main advice is to be ready to become a learner again. Yan po ang main advice ko. Kahit experience ka na po sa US healthcare system, parang start from beginner ka talaga yung experience mo dito. Be open to new protocols, workflows, and standards here in the US. No, it's way different back there in the Philippines. So, dapat po tayong maging, what you call this, dapat po tayong maging compatible and also be open to new ideas or culture here in the US for us to survive here. So, yun po.
Thank you so much, Sachi. That's a very great advice. And hopefully maraming natutunan yung mga candidates and applicants natin with your tour. And of course, I hope that it inspired them. So, before lang tayo mag-proceed with the quick panel Q&A, I think Sir Dan would like to share a photo.
Hold on a second. I just have a line of photos. So this is Pamet and me, and I'll just scroll through real quick. This is how we're very there's a lot of people that we help. So you'll see like a group of people here, all the places that we visit. This is all our chapters. We have like the speakers that we have, the people that we help. This group are new Filipinos that just arrived. There's groups right here. This is a new group. This girl right here in the middle with the baby, she just delivered her baby as she got here. So she was pregnant when she got here. And we helped this group of Filipinos in Virginia. This small group of Filipinos here. We drive 6 hours, 8 hours to go help Filipinos in need. Like some of them get depressed, and you will, because you don't have the right food, you don't have the right people, they get depressed and they need just a little push, a little help will help them out, and they won't go home. I know of some lab techs that was so depressed they had to go home, and they went back home, and they didn't continue their career here. But there's a lot of help here. I help people buy cars like this group right here, this couple. So there's a lot of help out there. And this is NIH right here. This is the big hospital I worked at, and the big labs. And we also go to the Philippines. This is St. Louis University, all the graduating class of St. Louis University. And we speak at the labs over there too. So we help them out a lot. And here's a big group of 40 people that came to our house, and they stayed at my house for 3 days. One of them lived in my house for almost a month because she couldn't find an apartment. So we're out there, the organizations that are out there, you help. This one was a question and answer session for 3 days, and we brought people in just to answer questions that people had. And this was a big group of Filipinos. But that's it. There's a lot of pictures here, my military career and places I've been, but it's interesting.
Again, thank you very much, Sir Dan and Versace, for sharing those photos. It's truly motivational, even though that is specifically for medtechs. I think it shared the same inspirations for our nurses as well, who are also aspiring for and working towards to achieve that American dream. So to move forward with this session, let's have a quick Q&A session. So it's more of a quick panel Q&A session. So I think we can accommodate 2 to 3 questions. So for this one, I would like to encourage our participants to ask questions, but make sure to add the panelists to whom you would like to ask your question. So if you have a question towards Sir Dan, you can just include your question towards Sir Dan, so I can address it and relay it to him properly. So, so far, do you have any questions so far? Okay. And I also would like to invite Sir Bob for our nurses if they have any questions. Okay. So for the first question, I think any of you can answer it. So for the first question, one moment. Okay. For the first question from Zara, how to have a good credit score for us to secure an apartment even though starting pa lang po kami sa work sa US. So this is a common occurrence, especially that most of our candidates are really gonna be prioritizing to find a home as they start their life in the United States. So any of you can answer that question from Zara?
I think it.
I can answer that question.
Sorry, okay.
Uh,
Sige. Okay, Sir
uh,
Dan.
okay. the way to get credit history. I'm a financial advisor as well. So the way to get credit history is to have utang here. So you have to have utang. You have to have a credit card and you have to be able to pay that credit card off all the time. So what they're looking at is how well do you pay off your debt? So you have to maintain consistent payments on whatever bills you have, whatever credit you have, and it has to be for 2 years. It's a minimum of 2 years of history that they look at. So it's not considered history if it's not 2 years old. So if you have a credit card in the Philippines, I don't know if they can access that information in the Philippines, but it's tough. As soon as you get here, try to get a credit card. It's hard because you might go overboard on a credit card, but you have to get credit history. You have to have credit, and what the creditors are looking for is the how good you are at paying your credit. If you don't pay your credit, you miss a payment, your credit history score will go down, and that's bad for you. An apartment will not rent that apartment to you if you have lower credit. So increase your credit. You have to start getting credit, utang. So it's good utang. So good utang and you pay it off means good credit.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Shridan. So, I think this is a specific question for Sachi. So, how long usually is the duration of your training period? I know indicated to sa contract natin may specific siya na duration, but based on your experience with one of our partnered facility, what was your experience like in terms of duration with your training period?
Yes, for the training period, usually but in my facility, I was trained for like 6 months. So the and then I was also after the 6 months of training, I've been temporarily put on the shift because I was supposed to be on the night shift, but and then I was then temporarily put to the day shift because they some of the people from the day shift got transferred to another department, so they need my help. So actually, it's just also an ongoing training as well, and also learning at that time after the 6 months, and then they finally put me to the night shift until they found someone to replace the uh, person or staff that was um, extracted from the day shift. So that actually, and bottom line, it's for me, it's just a 6 months training.
Okay. And another question, and I think this might be any of our panelists can answer this, but I think it's mainly directed with Sachi. So, what platform did you use for finding an apartment? Or I know in Health Carousel we assist you in securing your apartment, but are there any alternatives that someone can go through to have that process like streamlined in terms of apartment?
Yes, actually, yeah, which is the same thing you said, Sir Jose, about the different kinds of websites that also recommended to us um by the health carousel. But actually your arrival advisor will also help you to find some of those apartments. But when like a week before my deployment, or my before po ako yung flight ko patungo dito sa US, um I actually been sticking on finding an apartment in apartments.com. That's with an S, apartments.com. And also, since wala pa po akong credit history or something like that, actually the health carousel will also provide what you call that, an endorsement letter for the apartment to show to the apartment officer po na pupuntahan nyo or magka-canvas kayo, as a proof that you are just starting here and you are also sponsored by this particular agency, and then you're just building up your credit score. So, but again, just like what Sir Dan mentioned, no, if you want to, since there are some apartments that is not actually in your first liking in the first place, because again limited po yung options niyo dito, based on my experience, because not all of the apartments are um accepting endorsement letter. But don't worry po, but because that endorsement letter is also one of the main factor that we've been accepted to this particular apartment, but mostly po hindi po nila kine-credit yun. So again, just what Sir Dan mentioned, so if your first apartment is not into your liking, and then you're again, after a year of building up your credit score, you and then you want to transfer to another apartment, and then they can consider that specific good score or good credit score of yours on almost all of the apartments in your area. So yeah.
To add on that, when you get employed over there, you deposit your money in a bank or a credit union. It's a direct deposit. That bank that you direct deposit to can give you a loan, or can give you money, can help you pay for things like an apartment. So having a good relations with that bank or that credit union, you can get money out of them, even though your credit score or you is non-existent, or it's very low, or you don't have enough. You can always ask that bank or that credit union. And we did that with a couple that bought that car in that picture. They just got here 6 months and they bought that car. It was a couple, and they didn't have a credit score, but the bank knew that they had a direct deposit from the hospital, and they earned so much money. Like their income was this much, so the bank agreed to give them a loan, and it was a better loan than other Americans can get, just because of that information. But you can talk to the banks and you can talk to the apartment. That apartment will make a decision on if they're going to let you rent the apartment or not based on your history. So again, it's communication with that apartment, the people, the finance people in that apartment complex. You talk to them, you say you have a contract with this hospital, you're earning this much money, and they'll probably approve it. They'll waiver a credit score and they'll approve you. But try to get the cheapest thing that you can get around. And Versace, I don't know how to say her name. She was lucky that she got an apartment close to her work. She's very lucky at that. And but there are a lot of apartments. There's a lot of choices for apartments, but they're all different prices. So you have to look at that too, where you're going to live. Like she said, you might not like the first apartment because of the location. You have to find another apartment, and you got to apply for the other apartment. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. And on the same topic of money, since that's what we are talking about right now, and I think this is our last question. So I think two of you can actually answer or give insights about this. So for Minos, at least how much money we have on hand or in the bank pag ma-deploy na sa United States, para as early as now, we are prepared financially, lalo na pag walang kamag-anak sa US. For context, I am a single mom and my teenager son will be migrating with me in the US para makapag-save na. Thanks po.
I think it's for me. So yeah, actually, I have a colleague here with the same status as of that one candidate, but actually she came here first, and then her husband and then the three kids came like after like 5 months, I think is the span of it. But since we have different category po as to the number of people and also to the status of because I'm single and you're with a kid po. So actually I think that would because for a single candidate, the as to the as per advisor, they advise us to prepare a money or what we call pocket money of at least $2,000, because aside from that money, again, the healthcare also will provide you with an arrival allowance. I think that's 1,500 or 2,000 as well, and then um, they will give you and I forgot what the particular allowance aside from the arrival allowance, housing allowance. Yeah, they will provide you with a housing allowance as well. With as long as you provide with the details of the apartment that you got when when you arrive here, and yeah. So again, bottom line, those that particular amount of money po ang mako-consider ko as a single candidate, but since you're coming with your son, so I think that will be much higher until 3,000, I think. It depends on the state po talaga because here in Georgia, um, compared to the other states, the cost of living here is not as much high as to the other states. So again, the state is also one of the major factors to consider, and also the what you call this, and whoever comes with you or your status when you arrive here in the US.
So I think that's it. So again, thank you very much for that great discussion. So we would like to thank our panelists for their time